Hey sports card fans, it's John, Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. Today I thought I would talk about how I have changed as a collector. Now this is part of a video response for Shane Shoebox Legends. Shane's doing a contest to celebrate reaching and now passing 500 subscribers to his channel. So Shane, congratulations. Glad to see that your channel is growing. Love your content and your passion for the hobby. For those of you not familiar with Shane's channel, I will put a link to his channel in the description of this video. Definitely go check out Shoebox Legends. He puts out content for pretty much everyone out there. If you like vintage, he collects vintage. If you like modern cards, he collects modern cards. Baseball, football, hockey. I'm sure he has some basketball cards in his collection. So there's something there for everyone. And like I said, a great collection, great storyteller. And Shane, I love the fact that you are now branching out in some of your videos and actually showing your face on some of the videos. I know it had taken you a while to get to that point, but I always enjoy watching videos where I get to see the collector, at least at some point during the video. I love to put a face to a name, not just a voice to a name. So Shane, I'm glad you took that step and are now showing yourself more on your videos. But again, as part of his contest, he wants us to talk about how we have changed as a collector. If you've been in this hobby for a decent amount of time, invariably, you're going to change what you collect. It's just, I think, a natural thing. You go down one path and either you get tired of it or you lose interest in something or something else piques your interest. Sometimes life gets in the way and you have to take a pause in your hobby and then hopefully start it back up again. So I thought I would tell as brief as possible. There's a long history. I've been doing this for over 40 years. So I'll start from the beginning, and that would be 1978. I was 6 years old, and for those of us of my generation who collected back then, pretty much the only opportunity to collect cards was to buy packs of cards. There weren't too many shows, dealers, card shops back in the late 70s. Now, my local card shop, I believe, started up in around 78 or 79. They're still around to this day. So there's that avenue there, but pretty much I remember every Sunday my dad would give me an allowance for the week, 50 whole cents. 2 quarters. I remember he always gave me 2 quarters. And usually after church, we would stop at the local newsstand. Sometimes my dad would get the paper or something, but usually it was for my sister and I to stop in because they had a whole bunch of stuff that we were interested in. So I think back then a pack of 1978 Topps cards was, I think, 20 cents. And if they had cello packs in stock, I think those were 30 cents. So if I wanted to spend all my 50 cents on baseball cards, which I didn't always, I could buy, a couple packs of wax packs and maybe have some, change left for the following week, or maybe buy us, some gum or something like that. Or maybe if they had a cello pack, I'd get a cello pack and a regular wax pack. I remember occasionally buying a comic book if I was interested. I think comic books back then were like 35 cents. So, depending on what I was interested in for that particular week, and started, basically just buying packs of cards. And then when I started Little League, my mom would be talking to other parents about, I forget who brought up the subject of baseball cards. And they said to my mom, what he really needs to do is collect the entire set of the cards. Opening packs is fine, but the real value or whatever was to buy the entire set. So for years, for either birthday or Christmas, my parents would get me a complete set of Topps. So that started in 1980. So I've run from 1980, missing a few years, into the 2000s of Topps. I don't know. I may have gotten some other like Flair Donruss when that came out. But as I got a little bit older, when you started to get into the late 80s, Score came out, and then Upper Deck, and then you had Bowman set, and then so on and so on. And it sort of got a little frustrated for me as a quote unquote set collector. One, I mean, I would still buy packs throughout that time. Now there was a period between I think 1984 and 1986. For whatever reason, I can't remember. I didn't buy a whole lot of packs or single cards, so I don't have a lot of singles in my collection from those time periods. But 1987, I started picking up, buying packs and rack packs and all that stuff. But in terms of completing sets, it became less of an interest for me. I'd get the set, hey, that's great. It'd be in a box, and I'd stick the box in my closet. And it was hard to focus. Okay, so beyond Topps, okay, do I get the Upper Deck set? Do I get the Donruss set and the Flair and Score and all these other, not only card companies came out, the card companies came out with multiple sets. So it just got to be too much for me. So around 1996, 97, I've told this story before, I decided to switch my focus and concentrate on collecting cards of a particular player. One, I could look through those cards. They weren't just sitting in a box, like a complete set in my closet. I think I may have started off putting them in binders and in pages and stuff like that. And I decided to focus on Wade Boggs. So from, again, 1997 through today, I've been collecting Wade Boggs cards. Now, along that time frame, I would buy the occasional vintage card. Most of it was raw. Sometimes I'd go to my card shop or would see him at the flea market and just buy some like common cards. I have a group of common, very poor grade, like 67 Topps or something like that he had a stack of 50 for, I forget what price. But I never really focused on vintage. I always had an interest, though, in vintage. I remember getting the Beckett price guide, and right after looking up the current prices of some of the modern cards back then, I'd always flip back to the cards of the 60s and the 50s and just think, wow, I love those designs and those famous players that have been retired, that are, Hall of Fame players. But back then, even then, some of the cards were like $20, $30, which today are $300, $400. I didn't have a lot of money back then. So even $30 on a card was a lot of money. So my focus at the time was a little bit more of the modern. I mean, again, we're talking about the 80s here into the 90s. So I just never really had a focus on vintage. So like I said, starting in the late 90s till today, it's been Wade Boggs until I got on YouTube. Once I started watching videos on YouTube, slightly before I even started my channel, I gravitated toward those channels that had vintage collections, showing off their vintage cards. And it just rekindled that interest that I had as a kid in vintage baseball cards. But now I had more disposable income that I could actually say, hey, I'm in a position now that I can actually go and buy some of those vintage cards that as a kid I had always envisioned of having in my collection. Now, of course, I started this and got on YouTube in 2020, probably the worst time to switch my focus and get into vintage. But now, in terms of my hobby budget, the majority of my hobby funds are going toward vintage cards as opposed to Wade Boggs cards. I don't think I'm ever going to give up collecting Wade Boggs cards, but my current passion, I guess you could say, is building my vintage baseball card collection, especially of Hall of Famers. So yeah, over the last 40 plus years, I think it's maybe going on, 45 now? Again, started with packs, then it went to sets, then it went to collecting a certain player, to now where I'm expanding that to now building a vintage baseball card collection. So that in a nutshell is how I have changed as a collector. I love where I am right now in terms of my collection. I'm doing the two things that I have a passion about, Wade Boggs and vintage baseball cards. Now, the second thing that Shane wanted us to talk about in his contest video here is he wanted us to mention a set that we'd like, that is no longer being produced, that we would like to see come back, whether it be through the same card company or, you know, Topps Now or whatever, reintroducing or bringing back that sort of set design. So what I did was I picked a vintage set and a modern set that I would love to see come back in some sort of fashion. So let's split the screen here. So let's talk about the vintage set that I would love to see come back, reproduced in some sort of way, just because I love the overall look to them. It's very different from today's modern cards, and it is the early 50s Bowman cards. I have a couple examples here. Here's the 1950 Bowman Bob Feller. When I first got my first 1950 Bowman card, this wasn't the first, this is the second one that I picked up. I fell in love with the size of it. I don't know why. It's not, you know, totally square. It's, you know, a little bit longer than wide. But compared to today's size cards, I love the size of it, and I love the artistry of it. These were obviously taken from original photographs, but artists came in and did a sort of not colorized version, but an artist rendition version of that card. Here is the back of that card. And here is the first 50 Bowman card that I ever owned, the Yogi Berra. And what I would love to see is, say, Topps come back with a set this size, going back and using the original type of cardboard, not the modern, shiny, you know, thinner cardstock that they use today for the modern cards, but going back to actual, if you want to call it, just cardboard. You know, you have that brownish, a little bit thicker sometimes cardboard. Here is the 51 that was a little bit larger, but still love the design and the artistry to it. Now, Topps does currently do something like that. They have that Topps Living set where they have artists do drawings of players. Very well done. I believe they do it in the design of the 1953 Topps set. But those are online exclusive. Every once in a while, I think they come out with the 3 new players every few weeks or so. It's meant to be an ongoing, I guess, forever or until they stop, you know, set of cards. But it's not really one that you can just go out and buy packs, maybe try to complete a set. But have something. I did a video, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago of my ultimate set. If Topps had to come up with a new set, I came up with some designs, thoughts, ideas of my ultimate set, and it was similar in concept to this, but would love a limited set, maybe just rather than have a card of every player, because then you get a lot of commons, have maybe just the stars, a few stars of each team. So when you're opening packs, the incentive may be that, okay, the cost for the 5 or 10 pack card may be pretty high, but you're pretty much getting all the star players. Anyway, I don't want to go into detail, but I would love it if Topps, again, since they're really the only one with the licenses, would come back with a true early Bowman set. Here's the 52 Bowman Mickey Mantle. Come back with a card design of this size. They came back with the 89 Bowman. Yeah, I mean, they were okay. The one downsize is because they were larger than the standard card at that time. I think some people got frustrated with the size. It wouldn't fit in a normal top loader, this or that or whatever. You wouldn't get that with the smaller cards here. Obviously, they would fit in penny sleeves. They would fit in the top loaders or binder pages. Whatever you want to do, they would be easier to collect than the larger, like 89 Bowman, or the later 50s Bowmans, like the 54. But here's the last Bowman that I have, the Stan Musial. So from a vintage standpoint, would love it if Topps came back, maybe a limited release set, something like that, limited production, whatever, but have the look and feel of these early Bowman cards. So that would be one set that I would love to see come back in some form or fashion. Now, in terms of a modern set or design, the next one I have is from 2004 to 2008. Now, I don't know if this set went beyond 2008. I only go off of the years that Wade Boggs was in the set. So from 2004 to 2008, Upper Deck came out with the Ultimate Collection set. I have some cards here to show off from 2004 and from 2008. I just love the design of these cards, how they incorporated jersey pieces, bat pieces, autographs, and so on. So from 2004, we have this, ultimate game material. So it's a basic jersey piece. I think this one's out of 99, but just again, love the overall design of it there. They did have a autograph version, and they use sticker autographs. I'm not a huge fan of sticker autographs, but they didn't do that for all of them. But here's one with the sticker autograph and the jersey. This one's serial numbered out of 50, and they had a Yankees version of it as well. Just, again, love the design here. Then they did some with the patches. This is a Ultimate Game patch. Of course, I don't like the fact that they have him in a Red Sox uniform, but used a Yankees patch. Maybe they didn't have any Red Sox patches in inventory or not. I don't know. That one's out of 75, but they had a Yankees version as well. That one's out of 30. And then one of my favorite all-time cards of Wade Boggs. I think this is the Ultimate Signature number. Just love the overall design of that card. It is a sticker autograph, but just love how they have that solid, it's almost completely solid. You can see a little bit of black there, but almost a completely solid jersey patch, serial numbered out of 26, with the autograph there. Just the overall design, love it. And then they have ones called Ultimate Signature, and that one's out of 25. And then they had a gold version out of 10. And then they had the Super Patch. This is out of 20. And huge patch piece there from a road Red Sox uniform. So that was 2004. So love to see that design come back. And then in 2008, they really stepped up the game. Upper Deck did. By the way, if I didn't mention yet, Upper Deck came out with this set. It was Game Used Jumbo Patch. Just look at the size of that patch. This is out of 5. I don't know whether this is the gold version and there's a base version. So this may be the gold version, but just, I don't know, love the overall design, that huge patch. But what they also did, they came out with other ones. So this is Game Used Home Jersey out of 10, and they had the player sign the actual piece of jersey. I thought that was unique. I don't know if that was done anytime prior to by any other card company. They may have done. Upper Deck also did the it's escaping me now, the signatures, like the fake bat barrel or glove or leather. They would have that signed. The set names escaping me. I'm not sure if this came out those may have come out before 2008 here, but just love how they had the players sign the jersey piece. And then check this one out here. They have multiple versions. I think there's one maybe with just one patch piece, and then this one here is 2. Then they had a version with 3, and then a version with all 4 patch pieces. And this is an on-card autograph. Just absolutely love the design of this. Then going back, they had ones for the Game Used pants. Again, had the players sign that. And then there was a gold version. This one's out of 5, same thing. And then they had a road jersey. I'm not sure if they had a road pants, because I think the only one I'm missing is that one gold version of the home jersey. So they had the road jersey and the gold version as well. So would love to see, from a vintage standpoint, again, Topps come out with a design concept with the artistry of the early Bowman cards, the smaller Bowman cards. And then from a modern standpoint, would love to see, again, it would be Topps. Now, there'd probably be an issue with Topps doing it. Upper Deck is still around, but I think they only have a hockey license, I think. So obviously they couldn't come out with these cards because they don't have the baseball license. And then yet Topps doesn't probably own the name Ultimate Collection, but something like this, Ultimate Collection for a modern card. So there you have it, how I have changed as a collector over time, and 2 sets that I would love to see make a comeback. So Shane, hope you enjoyed my video response to your contest. Again, congratulations on reaching and now exceeding 500 subscribers to your channel. Keep putting out the great content. Love watching your videos. And again, for those of you who have not checked out Shane's channel, definitely go do so. I think you won't be disappointed. So with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.